The last train to nowhere. Chapter 1: The Departure. The train station was bustling with activity as passengers hurriedly made their way to their respective platforms. Among them was a young woman named Emily, who was carrying a small suitcase and a worn-out backpack. She had a determined look on her face as she navigated through the crowd, her eyes fixed on the departure board. Emily had been planning this trip for months. She had saved up enough money to buy a one-way ticket to a small town called Nowhere, where she hoped to start a new life. She had heard that Nowhere was a place where people could reinvent themselves, a place where the past didn't matter. As she approached the platform, Emily felt a sense of excitement and nervousness. She had never been on a train before, and the thought of leaving everything behind was both exhilarating and terrifying. But she knew that this was her chance to escape the monotony of her old life and find something new. As the train pulled into the station, Emily took a deep breath and boarded the last car. She found a seat by the window and watched as the city disappeared behind her. She was leaving everything behind, but she was also leaving behind the pain and the heartache. She was ready for a fresh start. Chapter 2: The Journey. The train ride to Nowhere was long and uneventful. Emily spent most of her time looking out the window, watching the landscape change from bustling city streets to rolling hills and open fields. She felt a sense of peace and freedom that she had never experienced before. As the train chugged along, Emily couldn't help but wonder what her new life in Nowhere would be like. She had no job, no place to live, and no friends or family in the area. But she was determined to make it work. She had always been a survivor, and she knew that she could handle whatever came her way. As the sun began to set, Emily felt a sense of anticipation. She knew that she was getting closer to her destination, and she couldn't wait to see what Nowhere had in store for her. She had no idea what to expect, but she was ready for whatever came her way. Chapter 3: The Arrival. As the train pulled into the Nowhere station, Emily felt a sense of excitement and trepidation. She gathered her belongings and stepped off the train, taking in her surroundings. The town was small and quaint, with charming old buildings and tree-lined streets. Emily took a deep breath and set off to explore her new home. She wandered through the streets, taking in the sights and sounds of Nowhere. She stopped at a small cafe and ordered a cup of coffee, savoring the taste as she watched the world go by. As she walked, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of belonging. She had found her place in Nowhere, and she knew that she had made the right decision. She was ready to start her new life, and she couldn't wait to see what the future held. Chapter 3: The Arrival. Emily spent the next few weeks settling into her new life in Nowhere. She found a job at a local bookstore and rented a small apartment in the heart of town. She made friends with her coworkers and neighbors, and she began to feel like she belonged. As the days turned into weeks, Emily found herself falling in love with Nowhere. She loved the small-town charm, the friendly people, and the sense of community. She had finally found a place where she could be herself, and she was grateful for the chance to start over. As she sat on her balcony one evening, watching the sun set over the town, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of contentment. She had come a long way from the girl who had boarded the last train to Nowhere, and she was proud of the person she had become. As she looked out over the town, Emily knew that she had found her home. She had found her place in nowhere, and she knew that she would never be alone again. She had finally found her happy ending, and she was grateful for the journey that had brought her here. The end. Thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe for more videos.